So one-to-one functions, the function has each x value input paired with only one y value. This is what we call a function first. Okay, so I mean, that's why it's one-to-one function. It has to be a function first, okay, which means that for every x value that you have, it can only put out one individual y value. Okay, so if you have an x value that's putting out different y values, it's no longer a function. It can't be qualified as a one-to-one function either. If you see that it is a function first, which you should check, then you see if it's a one-to-one function by seeing if each y value also has only one x value of output. So to go back real quick, in the past what you saw was if you had like 1, 4 like this, and then later if you had 1, 5 like this, it is not a function because in this one you're putting in a 1 and then out spits a 4. Now you come back, you put in a 1, out spits a 5. You never know if you're going to get a 4 or 5 if you put in a 1. And yeah, there could be other ordered pairs associated with this. In order for it to be a function, if you put in a 1, it has to spit out the same value, whether it's 4 or, I mean, it could be 14 as well. Doesn't matter. Whatever you put in, you have to know what's going to come out of that machine. Otherwise, it's malfunctioning, and then it's not a function. So first, it has to be a function. After you see it's a function, then you got to check your y values as well. So if I had these two ordered pairs, 114, let's say 114 again. Now let's say we had another ordered pair of 514. Okay, this is a function. It is not one-to-one because even though every time I put a 1, it spits out 14, and every time I put a 5, it spits out 14, that's fine to be a function. But it's not one-to-one because if you're getting out 14s from different x values, that's not good either. Or it won't qualify it as a one-to-one function. So in order for this to be a one-to-one function, just any other value but 14 would work right here. 35. But 35 would work, negative 110. As soon as you get 514, because you've already spit out 14s over here, as soon as this one spits out 14, nope, it's not one-to-one. So it could still be a function, but it may not be one-to-one. That's what you got to be careful about. So determine if the tables are one-to-one. So remember, I'm going to check first if it's a function, meaning I'm going to focus first on my x values. And on this one, I see an x value that's 10, and then it spits out a 6. Okay, and that's fine. But then I see also I put in a 10, and then out spits a 15. Well, that right there means it's at least not a function. And since it's not a function, it automatically is not one-to-one. It has to be a function first, and then I can determine if it's one-to-one. Okay, so I would recommend starting with your x values and then checking your y values. And why am I recommending the x values first? It's because knowing if it's a function or not is something that you should have seen in 990. The next one. Okay, so again, I'm going to check my x values first. And first off, I see there's no x values that repeat, so there's no proof to show, like if I put in a 1, that I'm not going to get a 4 out, right? All evidence right now in the second table says if you put in a 1, you're going to get a 4 out. If you put in a 10, you're going to get out a 6. If you put in a 14, you're going to get out a 15. So the x's check off. At least right now, I know it's a function. I have a function. What I need to know now, second of all, is to determine if this is one-to-one. So if it's one-to-one, then every y value will spit out an individual x value. So I see 4. I guess you could say it's coming out. 4, you get a 4 from a 1. There's no other evidence to show that you won't. Then you say you get out a 6. Well, where'd the 6 come from? It came from 10 and nowhere else. So again, that's okay. If you get out a 15, there's no evidence to show that it didn't come from a 14. So since it's a function first, and we see that there's no evidence to show it's not one-to-one, it is one-to-one. Maybe I'm 1, 2, 1. Maybe using the process of elimination. I mean, it's good to go throughout this to see if it doesn't work first, and then if you see that it does or never doesn't work, then you can know it's one-to-one. But again, it's just check your x values first, and then check your y values. So let's give a theoretical on this. if over here it gives me, let's say, 8, 4 right here, okay? Then I see over here it spit out a 4 when I put in a 1, and then over here when it spit out a 4 when I put in an 8. Then it would not be 1 to 1 because you can't have different x values spitting out the same y value.